Hi, welcome back, and it's great also to welcome Bel Thomson to the studio. How are you, Bel?
Great to be here. Yeah, good.
Now, 10 years you've been involved in Christian music. I don't want to say the word business, but I don't know what else other word to use right now. So 10 years you've been involved in Christian music, 4 albums. Does that make you a veteran musician?
Well, it does make it sound like I've been around for a little while, but I started when I was just straight out of uni, released my first EP, and kept going slowly and surely from there.
Now, your journey into music started young, didn't it? There was this sense that your parents said, this daughter of ours, her hands will be blessed to do something for God, and you've ended up playing piano. What happened there?
Yeah, well, you know what's funny, because my family's actually totally not musical, and I was actually born with something wrong with my hands, and every night they would turn blue, they'd swell up, and I was booked into hospital to have an operation just as a baby to try and fix the problem. And my parents had just become Christians not long before I was born, and so the night before I was due to have this operation, they'd taken me to church, and some of the people there had said, "Oh, well, have you prayed about it?" And they're like, "Really? Like, can you even do that? Does God even
thought of
yeah,
that.
Totally. Does God even care?" And the people were like, "Yes, He totally does." So they just prayed for me at church that night, and nothing glamorous happened. My parents took me home, and the next morning, Mum went in to get me ready for hospital, and she noticed lying there in my cot that my hands weren't blue. She's like, "That's so weird." And she said she was actually annoyed. She's like, "Oh, great. The morning of the operation, now the doctors won't believe it." But
this is like the car. You take the car to the mechanic. It's making this noise.
It's totally got this noise, exactly.
And then it doesn't do it.
Totally that. So they take me into hospital, and the doctors are like, "She's totally healed."
Wow.
And I never needed the operation, and Mum really felt that was... that just really impacted her to understand that God actually really cares about, the details of our life. And my dad said from that moment, he's like, God's going to totally use this girl's hands.
Wow, wow. And so when did you realise that maybe God's plan for you was music? Because you're full-time into music now, so this is not just, leading worship at church on the weekend. This is a full-time thing for you. When did it start to click for you?
I started writing songs when I was a teenager, and I guess very slowly over the years, as my faith developed, that started being expressed in my songs as well, and I just became passionate about sharing the love of God in every area of my life, and songwriting was just one area. But I noticed over time that as I'd share music and share the message of who God is through music, that just really had an impact. So I guess my passion for that really grew, and it's just like anything in life. I think it develops over time and slowly, gradually.
Okay, all right. Before we go any further, Bel, how about we just, so our audience can have an idea of your music and what you're doing. Let's just pause and just have a quick look at one of your clips. Oh, that's great. Do you have other clips available on YouTube that people can check out?
Yeah, sure do. They're all on YouTube, but we also have some extra ones. We released a DVD this year, particularly last year when we were on tour, we kept having people say, "We'd love to hear the story behind the song," or at live gigs I'll share a lot of the stories, and people are like, "I want to get that story for my friends." And we thought it'd be great to have a product where we can really do that and share not just the songs but the stories behind. So DVD, it's got all the music videos and the stories.
Now you are a full-time, you're in full-time music ministry. How does that work? Like, how do you actually make a living?
Well, my husband has a lot to do with that. He's amazing. I love working as a team together for a start, and he's much better at all that side of it. I'm good at the creative side. But I guess, again, it started out very slowly. If you could look back years ago at my first tour, my goodness, there's been multiple times I've come so close to giving up. And I think with any God dream, in anything, not just creative, but any kind of ministry, that it's certainly, it's not an easy path. And I think we really do have to press into God and really know that what we're doing is worthwhile, that that the message that is in the music is so worth getting to people. So back when I started out touring, I remember the first gig, so I was willing to go anywhere, country towns, wherever, and I was travelling with a band at the time. We finally had a church say yes, we could come, so we drove hours to get there, played this gig, and they were like, we're going to take up a special love offering. And I was like, yes, this is going to be awesome. Yep. And at the end, the minister's counting out the coins, and it was like $43.
Oh, wow.
And I think at that point...
Didn't even cover the fuel there and back.
Totally didn't. And I think at that point my band was like, we're going to consider other career options. So now I'm a solo artist. Okay. But no, certainly learned a thing or two along the way. And I think it is the passion for it that keeps you going, and really believing that we can absolutely make a difference as we use our gifts for God's purposes. Wow,
wow. So as you're there, as you say, you sing the songs, you tell the stories. You've got a particular heart for women, and you've done a lot of sort of women's conferences, women's events. Is there any particular reason or any particular themes that you sort of explore in those contexts?
I think women, it's all about relationships for women. So as I meet women at conferences and churches and different events, I think there's often a very big concern for women, just relationships, whether it's their marriage, their children, whether they hope to be married one day. And I think when being able to remind women how much they're worth to God and put the focus on that, I love to encourage women. And you get a response. Obviously you keep doing it, you're getting a response from them, I guess, from audiences generally. Yeah, I think music is powerful, really, and that's why I do it. I think I first learned this, actually, I was teaching an RE class up in Queensland. I felt like God wanted me to go into schools, and I was like, oh man, I don't even know if I really like kids, but I felt like God was wanting me to do it. And I learnt when I went in, I could talk and no one would listen. But as soon as I started taking my guitar in, I was like, there is something powerful about music. And those kids would learn the songs, they'd remember the songs. Ages later, they would still remember those songs. So I really learnt that if you can combine truth with music, there's just a really powerful combination.
Yeah, wow. So, Bel, if people are interested in, checking out your albums, you've got a website?
Yeah, belthomson.com. That's the best place to go.
All right, and wherever good Christian music is sold. Now, your most recent album, you actually recorded that in Nashville in the US, didn't you?
Total dream come true.
Yeah.
I mean, for years I dreamed about working with a certain producer, Ed Cash, who I kept noticing his name on some of my favourite albums. He'd done Chris Tomlin, Carrie Job, Bethany Dillon, and a bunch of other stuff. And I thought, oh, one day I'd love to get to do that. And my husband was like, why don't we email him? And he's the practical one. I'm like, I was just going to pray about it. Yeah. But anyway, we were amazed when God opened all those doors. And honestly, it was such a dream come true. We did. Or it was very different to recording in Australia. My previous albums, we did all pre-production via Skype. So set up the laptop in my studio here in Australia and worked on the songs that way. I wrote all the songs here in Australia, and then we made a couple of trips to Nashville to do the actual recording. It was honestly,
awesome.
Such a dream come true.
Yeah, wow. Okay, well, you can see the result, I guess. But Nashville, you cannot have Bel Thomson. We've already got enough of our best artists.
Well, that was the cool thing. I got to do a duet with Paul Coleman while I was there, because he's living over there now too. So we're like, come here and record on the album.
Yeah, well, you can borrow Paul Coleman, but not Bel. Hey, thanks so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
We'll see you after the break.